Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? It's your boy Marcus, the Low Vision Snap Player, and welcome back to a brand new video. For this video, I'm doing something a little bit different. Now, as you can see, I have loaded up the tier list app again, and you may also notice that it's already been filled. Now, you're probably wondering, wait, what? You already filled the tier list? Why? Well, that is because I have decided to pick 12 of my favorite cards, not just from snap packs, not just from events, but my top 12 favorite cards of all time. Like, throughout the course of my 2 years playing this game. So, yeah, I started this game back in May 29th, 2023, and, at first glance, when I saw this game, I wasn't too sure about it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not too sure how I feel about the locations thing, but man, let me tell you, this game is incredible. In fact, I'm going to go as far to say that this might be one of the best mobile games that I've ever played. Which, to some people, that might seem kind of crazy, but you know what? I don't think it's that crazy, because it's like, look, the thing is, when it comes to this game's core gameplay, you're basically just trying to see who can get the biggest number. I mean, obviously, the more complex version is that there's like 3 locations, right? And your goal is to try to win 2 of 3 of those locations. And in order to win a location, you have to have more power than your opponent does. Or more points than your opponent does, right? So, yeah, man. I mean, this game, it's so far it's been an absolute blast, and getting to experience so many different seasons, and now I've decided to kind of commit to getting the season pass, at least the standard version. So it's been a really fun journey. And so I guess to kind of celebrate that I kind of wanted to share with you guys my top 12 favorite cards of Marvel Snap. Now, I'm not going to really tell you guys about the abilities of a lot of these, because, I did make tier lists for all these characters. If you want to learn a little bit about them, go check out the tier list. But yeah, so basically, I'm going to show you each card and then just kind of explain my reasoning for it. So yeah. Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't seen my tier list for the Master of Arcane season, check that out. And also some of my others. Maybe I should put a playlist of all the tier lists that I've created so y'all can check them out. But let's go ahead and start off with number 12, Agamotto. Now, this might come as a shock to some of you who have been watching since, Prehistoric Avengers. Like, when this card came out, like, he to me, he seemed like absolutely broken. And, I mean, he kind of is, right? Now, the thing with him is he has these 4 spells or arcana that all have different abilities. Like, you have one that gives Agamotto plus 3 power, making him a 5/13. And then also, if you don't have him in your hand, that one arcana can also put Agamotto into your hand, so that's pretty nice. There's one that can move one of your opponent's cards to the right and deal a little bit of damage. And then there's one that makes like 2 of your other cards copies of like your highest power one, I think. And then there's one that gives you 4 extra energy, which is really nice. But yeah, now the reason why I have him in number 10 is not because he's bad. It's not because he's like a terrible card or nothing. I have him in 12th because while he is a fun card, he's not really good in like practical use cases, right? I mean, yeah, it would be nice to get extra 4 energy, but it's like, there may be moments where the card that you don't have many like big cards that you're trying to bust out, so it's like okay, I either play out the bigger cards or whatever, or I just don't. And if you don't have like a Sunspot, that's just a lot of energy going to waste because Sunspot won't benefit from that. And I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I just feel like with his Arcana too. One thing I should say is that his Arcana do kind of take up your deck space, and what's really annoying is that almost 90% of the time you're getting the Arcana more than you are like the cards that you actually need. Like, let's say you're playing a discard deck and you have him in there, you know, you would probably think that, oh, I'm gonna get my Blade so I can discard my Apocalypse, only to get a Temporal Manipulation. It's like, okay, that's great, but I don't need that right now. Or you get images of Icon. It's like, okay, great, but again, I don't need that. So the Agamotto is more of like a fun card, right? He's not really meant to have practical use cases. But if you do happen to get him in your collection, he's definitely worth adding to a few decks here and there. Heck, at some point, I did believe that he was a card that you could practically slap into any deck, which now that I have Merlin, I don't really think that's the case anymore. In fact, he kind of becomes a bit of a hindrance more than being helpful. But yeah, so that's why I have Agamotto in 12th place. In 11th, we're giving it to Ant-Man. Now, here's the best part. You're going to get Ant-Man in your Recruits Pass. Now, basically what this dude's ability is that in order for him to get an additional buff, you need to play other cards around him, right? Like, he's not going to get stronger alone, but when he's with a team of cards, then that's when he gets that little boost. And if you play him with a Brood, he's pretty good. But, you know, is it the best ability? Like, is it the best type of ability, like, late game? Probably not. Because it's like, there is Ultron too, but then again, it's like, they're really, without those two cards, it's like, you kind of have to play one by one, and there may be cases where you might not be able to, right? Like, maybe you play him in a location that eventually just gets locked down, and now it's like, you just have your Ant-Man sitting there, not benefiting and not really getting any boosts. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, even as an early play card, he's a little bit tricky as far as like synergies goes. I mean, you can put him in like ongoing decks and stuff, but as far as like team up, the fact that you do need to have other cards to boost him up, it can get a little tricky at times. So, but again, he's not a bad card, right? So yeah, Ant-Man is going to be in my number 11. Number 10 is Apocalypse. This dude is a Series 1 card, and let me tell you, I've managed to get this dude to, I think at one point I managed to get him up to like 30 something. Like, when you play, you know, your Lady Sif, your Blade, or heck, even Dracula is good for this too. Or basically any time Apocalypse gets discarded, he gets absolutely broken. But when you compare other cards, like from the previous seasons, I don't know. I feel like he somewhat falls short. Now, there were cards like Khonshu, right? Khonshu's another card that basically he gets stronger like Apocalypse, but you can only discard him so many times. You know, I kind of wanted to put him in the list, but it's like, I don't know. There's just something satisfying about watching Apocalypse get stronger and stronger. And yet, he's another one of those cards that you'll get early game. So it's definitely one that you're going to want to add in discard decks, for sure. So that is going to be my number 10. In number 9, I'm giving it to Ultron. Now, Ultron, this dude's ability is insane because he'll add a bunch of drones to the board. So, and you'll notice that I have him in my Human Torch deck. Oh, wait. That's a new card that I just got, and I still haven't posted a video to it. So that's a little bit of a spoiler there if I haven't posted the video yet. But essentially, I have him in a deck with the new version of Human Torch, and you know, he can help buff up the Human Torch and make him stronger. And then I also have him alongside Ant-Man. If you guys remember, when I made that ongoing up deck, Ultron was a part of it because, you know, he can help out with Ant-Man. And also it's like, if you need a way to, like, come back, he's gonna... Well, he ain't perfect. Ultron isn't the perfect card, but he still gets the job done. Although, when I played some of my decks in Conquest, dude did not show up. He did not show up at all. He was just freaking annoying. But other than that, though, he's a pretty solid Series 3 card. And if you happen to encounter him, whether it's through the Series 3 snapbacks or even through like the free Series 3 card that you can get at the start of a season, he's definitely worth snagging. And actually, after... there's another card that kind of works well with him, and he's right above Hydra Stomper, which he's actually my number 6. This dude basically gets stronger every time a card moves. So, for example, if you play the regular Human Torch, and you play like a Ghost Spider, every time a card moves around, he's gonna get a buff. I think the highest that I got was like 28 or something. I was able to get him up to a decent amount of power, so it's pretty good. It's a really good card to kind of have in your move decks. I still have my Hydra Stomper deck. I called it Hydra Stomping because that's what the deck is all about, is this dude in particular. And yeah, overall, pretty good card. So, if you happen to encounter him in the Series 5 packs, he's definitely a good addition to the collection. No, that's number 8. This is number 7 now, with Blue Marvel. Another card that you'll get in the Recruits Pass, and this dude is pretty good. Essentially, what he's going to do is he's going to give all your cards +1 power. So this is where, you know, he pairs really well with Ultron, right? So picture this, right? It's turn 6. You already have your Blue Marvel on the board. You play Ultron down. All the drones get placed on the board. And if you have a Patriot too, it's even better because all those drones are going to get buffed up. And then if you have Ant-Man on the board as well, he's going to benefit. And he can help you get the win. This dude's an amazing card to have for ongoing decks. And I don't know, not just ongoing decks, but any other deck that is focusing on cards getting buffed up or whatever. You can put him in a lot of different things. But he is still... He is still kind of prone to cards like Enchantress or Red Guardian or anything that can take away text. This dude is kind of vulnerable to that. But other than that, he is really, really good. Coming up in the number 6 spot. Now we're at number 6. We have Surge. This card debuted during the new X-Men season. And my goodness, Surge's ability is just awesome. So basically, what Surge does is she's going to give one of your cards -1 energy. So she's going to make one of your cards cheaper, but she's also going to give your card +1 power. Now, here's the thing. This effect will continue only if you play the card that she targeted. So, for example, let's say the next card that she hit was let's say she hit the Ant-Man, for example. He'll be free, but he'll have 2 power. And if you play Ant-Man on the next turn, that ability will continue. So as long as you continue playing the cards that Surge's ability hits, you can potentially bring out some cool stuff early, right? So for example, maybe she hits the Blue Marvel, right? If you manage to get him on the board on turn 4, you can already have that going if you don't have a Kazari in hand or whatever. He makes a really good, Surge makes a really cool card if you're trying to ramp out stuff early. So really, really, really fun. Coming up in number 5, sorry, we have Venom. Now, this was one of the cards that I got. I think it's during his debut season. We Are Venom. In fact, I actually have him in a tier list here. Oops. Let me show you guys the first. This is where I had him in the first tier list that I made for. This is one of the first tier lists that I made, and then we have this was during Amazing Spider season, I believe. I think so. But yeah, so I managed to I put Venom on my top spot. Now, is he still a top spot S tier card? I mean, not necessarily. In all honesty, guys, you can really only play Venom in one type of deck, and that's Destroy. But, I mean, his ability is still really good because, not only is he going to destroy your cards, but he's also going to get their power as well. So, he'll continue to get stronger. He'll get stronger when he destroys cards. So, it's a pretty good addition to have in any Destroy deck. So, if you have instead of Carnage, you play Venom, to destroy a Bucky Barnes, an X-23, a Wolverine, anything that can be destroyed is pretty good and kind of one of my favorites. Number 4, we have Mr. Merlin. Now, this is one of the cards that you can get for the season pass last season in Masters of Arcane. And this card, I will 100% say that he is 10 times better than Agamotto. Because while Agamotto costs a bit more, Agamotto has more power and costs a bit more, Merlin is cheaper to play. Now, he might not be as strong as Agamotto, but in all honesty, I don't think he needs to be any stronger than that, because what his abilities what his spells can do are way more useful than what Agamotto's can do. There's one called the Omniversal Presence, which will basically change a location and also give Merlin +1 power. So, let me paint a scenario for you. Let's say there's a location that... Let's say there was a location that took away power from your cards, and it's great. I don't want that to happen. Well, you can play Omniversal Presence, and that location will change into something different. However, there's a chance that the location that one bad location might change to another bad location. But honestly, it's still good to have something that can change a location when you really need it. Because there are cards like Magic, right? Magic does that. But she adds another turn to the game, which sometimes you don't really need an extra turn, but with Merlin, it's like, oh, there's a location that'll destroy my cards. Boom. Temporum, Omniversal Presence, sorry. Then there's one called Once and Future that can put one of your cards back into your deck, but you're going to get +2 energy. So it's not as much as for the Bolts of Volthok, which is the one that gives you 4 energy. I hope I'm saying that right. But it's basically one of Agamotto's spells. But it's not as much as that. But you're still going to be able to ramp out stuff. So, for instance, let's say let's say your opponent played something like a debris, right? So you have these rocks on the board that are just unnecessary. You can put one of those rocks back in your deck and also get back some additional energy. So, for instance, let's say turn 4 comes around and you put the debris back in your deck last turn. You'll go up to 6 energy. So, shoot, maybe you're playing an ongoing deck and you slap down an Onslaught. Something crazy like that. Or, heck, maybe it's even an Ultron. Why would you want to play Ultron so early? I don't know, but just an example. Then there's also one called Polymorph. So, now let's say that, okay, maybe you didn't get Once and Future, right? But you still want to do something with that rock that you were given. Well, you can play Polymorph, and that one will basically transform the rock into another card that costs more. So maybe it could be, another Merlin or one of the newer cards. I don't know. It's random. But what I like about Merlin is the fact that his abilities, they take up hand space, which in some cases might seem like a big disadvantage because then it prevents your other cards from popping out. But in some cases, it can actually be pretty cool. Like, I have a deck that kind of focuses on this. Like, you let the incantations, that's what Merlin's spells are called. You let the incantations keep building up in your hand, and then if you have Bullseye on the board, you activate his ability, and Bullseye will discard all those incantations and other 1-cost cards that you have, and it'll convert into damage. So it's like you could pull off a crazy play with that. So, yeah, honestly, Merlin is definitely a pretty solid card to add in your collection. You can get him in the Series 5 seasonal packs. So, if you weren't so sure about getting the season pass and ended up passing on Merlin, you will have a chance to get him through the seasonal packs. Now, we're getting into the top 3, the best of the best. Now, you might notice 2 of them are from last season, and one of them I just recently shown, and it's going to be kind of surprising. But for number 3, we have Strange Supreme. This dude's ability, when I tried him out, he was cracked. Absolutely cracked, man. Basically, what he does is he'll kind of merge with other cards on the field that were created. So, again, going back to the rocks, when debris puts the rocks on the field, Strange Supreme would eat up one of those rocks, and he'll get stronger every time he eats a card that was created from other spots besides your deck or your hand or whatever. So it's a really, really fun ability. Although the times that I have played Strength Supreme, it wasn't working too good. But I am willing to give it a second chance and, continue seeing how it does. And if it's not performing as well, I may consider getting rid of that deck. But, man, Strength Supreme is just absolutely broken and fun. Next up, for the number 2 spot, we're giving Dormammu. Man, y'all. Like, I've never seen a card with this much steps to it, but it's kind of cool. Now, the way Dormammu works is, in order to actually, you can technically play him out regularly, like if you manage to get an extra energy on turn 6, you can technically just play him regularly, but why would you want to do that? Because the way you go about summoning him is actually kind of crazy. In fact, let me load up Snap to show you guys his summoning system. I have the game up because I was going to run a few matches, but with Dormammu, you have these different phases. So you have the first summoning ritual, which you have to merge like one of your cards that were destroyed. So you do have to destroy something before you can, like, in order for this card to take advantage of its effect. Otherwise it wouldn't work. But once you've done that, you'll move on to the second phase. The second phase, you'll basically, it'll take power from other cards, including yours, and it'll add up to Dormammu's power. And then finally, the last step, you have to sacrifice a couple cards. And if you're playing them in a destroy deck, it can work out pretty well. So, like a Nimrod and a Bucky Barnes, right? You play with that. Or heck, maybe it's a Nimrod and a Squirrel. When this spell destroys the other two cards, Dormammu will summon. He will summon into that location. So yeah, this card is absolutely fun and broken and awesome. And once again, you can unlock them through snap packs. And then finally, we have, last but not least, the best of the best, Nightmare. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, what? Didn't you just barely post a video on him, and isn't he fairly new to you? Yes, he is still fairly new to me, and I haven't really been messing around with him as much because I have the new Human Torch card, but my goodness, is this dude fun. Like, there are cards that transform your cards into others, and then, there are some that can, steal text and whatnot, but Nightmare's ability is absolutely broken. Like, basically what he does is he'll give all the cards in your hand brand new text. So, look, let me show you the prime example of this. See, normally, like with my Infinite, let me switch to my 6s. Normally with my Infinite, this is what Infinite's ability is now. Now, let me show you guys. I think I still have the clip. I think I might still have the clip for it, but it was just insane. Let me see, yes, I do have it. Now watch. See, keep in mind of Infinite's ability. Now watch this. So watch, my opponent's going to play his stuff down. Okay, ready? And look at that. Look at that. Look at how, like, bro, you can literally, Infinite can become a freaking Galactus. I don't even have Galactus yet, and that's so broken, man. That is so awesome. Like, he is by far one of the best cards that I have ever played. Like, Nightmare just adds so much more, just makes things so much more interesting. It's like, I like the cards that have their original abilities, but it's kind of fun to see what kind of abilities Nightmare gives the cards in your hand, because it opens up a whole new playing field of strategies, right? And your opponent won't know what's about to hit him. It's so good. It is so freaking good. And like I said, he is by far the best Marvel Snap card that I've ever played. So there you guys have it. My top 12 favorite cards. If you guys have any questions about the game or, any of the cards, definitely don't hesitate to ask. Leave your questions in the comments. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this vid. Don't forget to like and sub. And as I said before, make sure you check out some of my other tier lists. And yeah, definitely stay tuned for the end of the season, because I will be doing another one for this current one. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Peace.